agreeable.
You're anything but agreeable. That's why I invited you.
Right now I'm agreeable.
Okay.
So
I'm
far,
ready.
so good.
So, Eugene,
Exposition of stasis.
what's the title of our show, Neil?
I think we were going to call it, we had two names, and we came around to Provocative Discourse with Birds.
A provocative discourse with birds.
That's really catchy.
These
you
three are
guys.
the birds. It's 2016.
It is that's so important,
It's
right?
a meta name. You don't even need a catchy name anymore.
You know when they do that? And go! Okay, so Neil and I were talking about like the nature of what we're doing. And you know when you play chess with a kid and you kind of let them win? We would love to be
I
able...
never let them win.
We would love... Okay,
It's how
so...
they grow. They learn to lose at an early age.
Okay, so that brings us to a question. Are we launching into this? Can we launch into question period, or are you?
No,
still
I just wanted to talk about like the chess thing.
Finish your preamble.
Okay. So, we would like to ask our hardest questions, and then we'll edit out anything you don't like. But we're gonna take like our best shots. Is that cool?
Because we believe you're strong enough.
Me?
Yeah.
Me?
It's not an ambush.
Why am I starting to think it is?
No.
No, it's okay.
Okay.
Take
So
your best
no, but
shot.
we talked about it. We're
Go
like,
for it.
we'll ask our toughest questions, and then we'll take the best of it. Yeah.
Sure.
And
Are
help
you
us
ever-
to grow and teach us about ourselves as you answer our questions.
Yeah, because we have no business doing this.
Just
That's
upside down.
exciting. Here's an easy question. The first one is, what is this book is about?
Fuck my life. It's about the artistic process. It's about what it takes to become an artist, a great artist. And the things that you have to do, the crazy, insane things that you have to do along the way. Like this.
What do you mean?
Well, this is a concert pianist who teaches a little 7-year-old girl who's not very talented to play the piano. It's a bit like driving in a thumbtack with a sledgehammer, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
You said right off the top that the book is about the artistic process. Did you say that it's about becoming a better artist?
No, I don't think so. I think it's about becoming an artist, there's no qualitative thing in there, you know.
And would you say that you can be taught how to become an artist?
He says this.
He says
you
so
can't.
The narrator says you can't. All
Yeah.
you can do.
Oh! You just wrecked one of my questions.
Ah, haha.
Well, it's one of your questions. We'll come back to your question then, because you want to make it the big closer, right?
But can I say? I mean, what he says in there is that you can't really teach anyone to play the second Rachmaninoff piano concerto.
True.
And I think he's right. I think you either, through the DNA or through God or whatever, you have that ability, or you develop it. But me, I teach creative writing, and I have seen people get better through my teaching.
By starting off as talentless creatures. In
Absolutely, yeah. They're just blobs. They're just hunks of clay, and I mold them into thinking, artistic, beautiful human beings. Sometimes.
So, in the introduction, it says, I am not he, she is not me, they are not they, it's fiction.
That's right.
So,
You have to do that when you write in first person.
yes.
And a lot of people erroneously think that I am he, which led to a couple, for example, women taking me out for coffee. But then when I said, no, I'm not a zillionaire, I don't live in a huge apartment with 12-foot ceilings,
12-foot ceilings.
they quickly disappeared.
Right.
Okay, ask your question then. Sorry.
Alright, so, here's my toughest question.
Oh, ooh.
Do you like the narrator?
Me? Do I like
Do you like
my
him?
narrator? Yeah, I love him very much. He's such a big part of me. And that first person thing, I'll tell you where this novel beguiles my, say, brother and sister. Because the first 18 years of this man's life that he describes is really me. What happened after that is all fiction. So there's it's a funny balance. It's a blurred line between him and me, but he's quite a bit like me.
Did you have an Alfred?
Yes. Yeah, Alfred. The reason.
You know what makes these questions great? We read the book. We read the crap out of this book.
Some of us read it 3 times.
Yeah, man.
I don't even think I read it 3 times, but
We can tell.
maybe I did. Alfred's a hybrid. Who asked that? You asked. He's a hybrid between my teacher at the University of Regina when I was a piano performance major, and his teacher, who was Alfred Cortot, who was a very famous French pianist and teacher in the early to mid part of the 20th century. That seems like a long time ago. There's great YouTube of him, and one of these very
From which center?
Paris.
Oh, wait. So you know you know what YouTube is?
YouTube. I know, but he didn't know.
Okay.
Right, and he calls it an iPad.
I'll be quiet for a minute.
EYE.
Did those women you took to coffee think that they were going home with a man who didn't know what YouTube was?
Perhaps a little. A little obtuse, perhaps. No, I think they just thought that.
Over the line, Neil.
They thought I was rich, and I'm not. Okay, I assure you. Yeah, I'm rich in spirit, and obviously lots of things.
I'm rich.
But yeah, you're rich.
Ironically rich. Yeah.
Right, he's rich. Yeah.
Understood.
No, I think they were fascinated by him and just wanted.
Is the narrator an anti-hero?
Oh, jeez Louise. A little, isn't he? Because he's not. However,
Voltaire! Did you know
Brandon
that Voltaire
Wrote
laid
in bed.
in bed?
oh, I didn't.
We wanted to ask you together, do you write in bed?
Yeah.
For the reasons that he says it's difficult, I don't, because something happens in my neck and my limbs go numb. my wings go numb, and I can no longer fly.
This is really good.
It is.
Is it?
Voltaire!
Stop yelling.
Eugene. So,
Yes.
I don't know if you remember this, but Jess, you and I met in 2012. Do you remember that?
Yes, a Cafe Bino.
For the Thunderslap. 2012.
Thunderslap? What was that?
Well, we did a poetry event. You remember?
Oh, right.
Right.
Yeah.
So, that weekend we were talking, you had been going on about these amazing books you found at Reed's.
Oh, okay.
Do you remember that?
Journals, yes.
The journals.
Yes.
Now,
blank journals, right?
The
Yeah.
journals play heavily in this book.
Yeah, they do.
Were those journals?
Okay, so the journals we're talking about are called Leuchtturm.
Yeah.
Das ist ein Deutsches Werk. And I still use them.
Yes.
I wrote this book in pencil,
Wrote the whole book
the whole book,
by hand.
by hand.
Old school.
70,000 words in pencil, in these, and always graph paper, right? And yeah, three books, green, black, both, whatever order they're in. Yeah. So that they exist. I could have brought them tonight to show them.
Did that answer your question?
Yeah. So much so that my next 3 questions are done.
That wasn't.
When I paint, I find that I zone out, and I kind of have this like, I can't believe what my hands are doing.
Right.
When you wrote about the piano player, he seemed to have this moment where it was like his hands were just going. Do you get that?
Well, he says that at one point, that it looks like someone else's hands. Yeah, when I wrote it, I took the handwritten journals and I transcribed them into the computer. And before I do that, I would play the piano for about an hour. And I played things of the classical repertoire like he talks about. But when I wrote the section of his concert, I put on Ashkenazi playing the Rack 2 and played it through. And I had some big sheets of 11 by 17 paper and flare pencils, those felt markers, and different colors. And I just went through and wrote Stream of Consciousness. And then I played it again right away. So, and then I took those 2 big sheets and looking into what's in there. And I don't think anyone's ever done that before, actually. Try to recreate what's going on in a musician's mind when he's playing.
That's the best
It's
part.
interesting. I have a question about what's going on inside an artist's mind or a musician's mind. How long have we been filming? Do we want to cut again, or
I think we're good.
We're at
Let's
five.
go.
We're at 5 minutes.
we're 5 minutes?
And
Okay,
actually,
5
your
minutes
question,
left.
I think, touches on my question. So let's keep going. I got the roll.
Okay, so so you in a lot of your work, you figured out a way to work in musicianship.
Right.
You wrote a play called, was it Writer's Block, that had the music
Yeah,
piece at the
that's
end?
right,
At
yeah.
a certain point, there's a
Yeah.
Broadway music piece in the show.
Yeah.
You wrote a play called Queen Lear.
Yeah.
In which a character in the play, there's only 2 characters on stage, yes,
Right.
but there's also a third ghost character who's a cellist.
Yep.
And there are certain points in the play where the main character is arguing with this silent sort of villain in her mind that the music represents as she becomes older and older, her memories start to disappear,
Yeah.
and she starts to lose her sense of function as an actress as this music takes over. How has music operated in any such way for you as a writer or as any other form of artist?
Well, gee, thanks for knowing all that, Neil. Right from the get-go, when I
We
started,
didn't hire him because he's good looking.
right, when I started to write,
And by
That's what I
hire
get.
him, I mean like we're all working for free.
when I went to York University, York, Toronto, I lived in Toronto.
Toronto.
Yes, I was.
Wait, isn't that the center of the
Yeah,
universe?
why am I here? Why don't I go? But when I started, it was a very eclectic program, and we were welcome to go and check out other aspects of the performing arts and fine arts. And my background was music, and I accidentally got into this playwriting master's degree, and I never really liked theater that much. I didn't really trust it. I thought theater's kind of boring. It's just like and I thought, well, if nothing else, if you put some music in, people might be mildly entertained. So, for that reason, all my early plays did have live music on stage. But going back to my true love and my roots, it was to marry music and dialogue and to create a sort of a different kind of dramatic form, I guess you might say.
Would you ever write an opera?
I would love to.
Eugene, has anybody ever had shingles from working?
I have.
Can you tell us that story, please?
After I got out of high school, I thought I could be a normal person. And so I got a job at Saskatchewan Government Insurance. And my job was to glue stick riders into policies. This is before digitization, of course. And after 6 weeks, I developed a mysterious rash on my stomach that hurt like hell. And thankfully, I was on good terms with my family doctor. And he looked at me and said, "What on earth are you doing to cause yourself this type of stress?" I said, "I'm glue sticking riders onto policies for 8 hours a day." He said, "You must not do that. You must do something else
Anything
with
other
your
than
life." Now, he called my mom. He said to my mom, "He must not do that.
You gotta know.
He will die by the time he's 19. And my beautiful mom, rest her soul, said to me, "You need a book." Uncle Bill lived in a mansion across from Upper Canada College. Uncle Bill had maids. Uncle Bill had lots of money. Uncle Bill had a beautiful piano. I said, "Yeah, I could go spend some time with Bill and the
So
family."
you took a break for the rest of your life.
Yes.
She loves dogs.
Tell us about the date.
And she loves dogs.
It happened. That date happened.
And she invites... spoiler. Okay. Is he a cad?
Is he a cat?
Like,
Okay, so without doing spoilers, the narrator is on a date with a woman,
Right.
and he goes out of his way to make himself reviling to her, basically. That is the moment.
Wait,
Yeah.
Did he?
What did he?
Yeah, man. Did he?
Don't you? She had a fundamental. She had a fundamental core value, and then he looked at her core value and said, "Your core value means nothing."
What the fuck, Neil?
It's not a spoiler.
Back off, man!
And then they still went home, and she invited him inside. And you want to know, is the narrator a cat?
Yeah.
Well, she
Is he
invited
a cat?
him. She invited him to walk the dog.
Neil! I'm sorry.
Now that did closely approximate a date I myself
I'm
had.
sorry.
Is she here right now?
Is she in the room? Yes, she is in the room. It was Jess when she had her 6
Bring it
dogs.
to the stage.
Eugene?
Sorry to tell you that. Sorry, Jess.
But he said no. He
Our
didn't go
secret
no.
is out.
He said no in the
I
narrative.
don't like dogs.
Haha! She doesn't like dogs either. That's how it
Because
happened.
of that.
It's fine!
Because of that moment.
Now,
Hey, remember when we were birds who hosted an interview show?
Yeah.
can I tell you about another date that
Are
I
you
went on?
having a
There's
stress attack?
Is anybody getting
We
shingles
just
up there?
read!
This woman.
You'll get shingles.
When I
Rich.
wrote for the Calgary Herald, women would sometimes find me and ask me out, and I'd make sure we went up way
Way out!
to the northeast, right, where I was not known.
Where nobody
Yeah.
could hear her scream.
Yeah. Me scream. Me. So the one day I went on to work, I went
Rich,
to write, I
what's
went to
happening?
do what I can do, and when I can no longer do it, one of my friends is going to come up behind me where I've dropped in my tracks and bring out a gun and shoot me in the back of the head. That is the plan, that is the scheme. So then she said, "So, Eugene, do you like golf?"
May I interrupt you? I'm sorry. And get this shit back on track.
I'm almost done. I said, "No, it's a nightmare with sticks.
This is a great story.
I hate it. I hate golf."
It's going over my head.
And then,
One. Voltaire!
So, the narrator, can we call him the narrator?
sure.
He doesn't seem to be, okay, so, he's a genius.
Right. You know what that's like, Rich. It's a curse.
It's a curse, and he's got to be alone, right?
Right.
But, in the beginning of the book, it's like he's not really doing a lot.
Would you say that the narrator is happy with the world?
No, but I think he's learned to live with it. You know, like he's become isolated. He's lonely. He's doesn't quite know what to do with himself, does he? And he gets drawn out by these 2 events that happen in this book. There's 3. The one, probably the least important, is 4. The least important one is he plays his concert. He can do that. And then the next one is his girlfriend dies.
Right.
That's not very nice. Then he teaches this girl. But I think his most monumental achievement in the book is finding his cleaning lady again.
That is definitely. Yeah.
Someone asked me what happens in the book,
Yeah,
and I
interesting
said,
conversation about that.
yeah, I said, well, a man loses his cleaning lady because she suggests to him that he drink his own urine.
The biggest emotional moment for him is to go out and have to weather the storm.
It really is, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, yeah. He can go and play, in front of 1,200 people, play, a very difficult piano concerto. But to get on the public transport and to go to a strange neighborhood.
So having said that, should we care about any of those other pieces of progress then?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
it
I
just-
think so. Because I think I'm not all that bright about such things, but I thought, taking my training in the theater, that what we want from a hero or anti-hero, which we should have, is some kind of transformation. Something must happen.
Sure.
And I think what happens is, as a result of all these things, he says in about the 3rd last section of the book to the mother of the creature, "Give me another chance with her." He wants to become a piano teacher. And it's the first time, I think, in the book where we see him want to do something other than just for himself. And I think that's what, I'm not sure if you thought of this, but the piano teacher is probably ironically named because it's not about him. He's not the piano teacher. Olga is, or Alfred is, but not him. Did you think of that?
We
I thought of
talked about that.
That is
We
one
talked
of
about
we
that.
talked about
Yeah.
We were gonna ask you who the
You
piano
guys
teacher
are
was.
smart. Man,
does
I'm dwarfed by your genius.
Does what he learns from both the creature, his student, and his own teachers, could you say that at the end of the book, though he is on the path to becoming a piano teacher?
I'd say he's on the path to becoming a human being.
Okay.
Right. And that's a
Because he wants to be.
because he wants to give something of himself other than for his own ends. It's an act of altruism. And I think altruism is the highest thing that we human beings can aspire towards.
Okay.
Would you agree?
I agree.
Yeah.
It's a good idea.
Tay-Ru's got his own philosophy.
But
Yeah.
It's all about you, eh, Rich? What's in it for me?
No.
I mean, that's the whole debacle that we're seeing down in the United States. Is the what's in it for me cult of personality, Donald Trump, and all that bullshit. If we as human beings can't do things for each other, for no gain, for no personal advancement, if we lose that ability, then I think we're doomed as a race. You might as well let Trump take over the whole fucking world, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
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 Let him. Voltaire!
Voltaire! Do artists have to suffer?
To what end? Just in general?
You must not suffer, but you must stay feral.
Do artists have to suffer?
Artists do suffer. Do they have to? I don't know. If this character, and there's an autobiographical part of the book, me, could have been happy to work at that insurance job, could have found a wife, could have bought a bungalow in Northwest Regina,
With shingles.
stucco probably. You know.
Stucco
Yeah.
shingles.
And he talks about having the shop down the basement and
Stucco shingles.
going to the Rough Rider game. Maybe he would have been happier. He says that. Would I have been happier?
What
But
do you transmute your suffering into?
well, we should answer. This is better than anything I've said. Yeah, this is actually intelligent.
Yeah.
So what do you transmute your suffering into?
Into anything that can... Into something that I can throw away. Do you appreciate...
Hang on, let's do this. Let's do this.
No, it's fine.
Is it?
Okay, Rich, ask a serious intellectual
Is it
academic
possible
question.
to be a virtuoso in this day of age?
I guess it is, because I see evidence of it. But I also see evidence of absolute bozos and bimbos becoming more famous than these virtuosos because, well, they say what celebrity is being famous for being famous. So why would you spend, like when I was studying classical piano, it was 4 or 5 hours a day in my little studio. I had a beautiful old Steinway Grand. And practicing, and it was like he says, doing the Hanons, doing the scales, the arpeggios, doing the songs, 4, 5, 6 hours a day while I was a student. Why would you do all that to maybe make $30,000 a year? I hope that there will always be a desire to play this repertoire, the classical music. But in the same way, does anyone learn history anymore? And we're told now by the person who will become the President of the United States that the facts don't really matter, right? That what's more important is our perception of the situation somehow. So science doesn't matter. We saw that happening under Harper. He fired all the scientists. You know, so where are we at? This is the slippery slope that we're on. And if people don't choose to live like he did and become a virtuoso, if we lose all that, then I don't think we just lose music. I think we lose history. I think we lose language. I think we lose governance. I think we just fall back into the swamp. I really do.
So would you say a virtuoso is essential to preserving culture?
I would. And God love those
Can you
who
name any
do it.
virtuosos right now?
Well, the big one in this book is Vladimir Ashkenazy, who's a favorite of mine, and I did see him play in Toronto, 1974. Changed my life. That's when I was staying with Uncle Bill. But I don't think you have to be Vladimir Ashkenazy. I think you can be Bob Dylan. I think you can be Patti Smith. Look at her book, M Train. That book changed my life. You know, does that am I making sense?
It does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you just have your one question left for the end, sort of?
I got questions.
Oh, you got questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've only just begun.
Ask you your questions.
Don't you have any?
I do. I wanted to talk to you about being a playwright.
Oh.
And setting out for your first novel project, to essentially be a monologue.
Yeah, it is a monologue. You're right. Thank you.
Was that? Do you feel that there was a version of this novel that you could have written that was a novel, or I'm nervous about how I'm using words like and or.
Don't be nervous.
Was this the easy way to dip your toes into novelization?
Yeah. So that's a really great question, and what's great about it is the observation. It is a 70,000 word monologue, which you would never get away with on the stage, right? Is it the easy way? It was, Neil, but it wasn't a conscious decision to take the easy way out. You know, that's just how I started to write, and when I didn't really notice it until I started to write my second novel. Which is called In My Time of Dying, and I started to write it in first person because I thought I was fairly adept at that.
Could you give us the elevator pitch for In My Time of Dying?
This is about a Shakespearean scholar who's sort of a deathbed hallucination. It's funny, but it's really fucking weird. Okay,
We like weird.
Yeah, lots of gratuitous sex in the first part, which is the first part is called Eros.
Can we all take a moment to appreciate that Freudian slip of the adjustment of the beat as he talked about?
Yeah, Eros. Okay, stop. And then the second part is called Thanatos. So it's the death. And when I started to write it in first person, it was the piano teacher talking still. I couldn't do it. So I went to third person and made that conscious choice. And I found it a lot harder. I had no idea I'd find it so hard. It's like, and then just the piano teacher, once I found his voice, and it didn't take me long, and it's so close to mine anyway, it flowed pretty well, but to write in the third person I find much more difficult.
Okay.
And I think you're right, I think that's because I'm a playwright. Yeah. Do you have anything so bright, so penetrating, so interesting to ask me, Rich?
Yes.
Let's have it.
The piano teacher was one of 6 billion people who had his skill.
Right. Very few. Right.
What is your ratio?
My own?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just, compared to him, I'm just...
I'm 1 to 1.
I'm Wonder Bread.
Ah!
I'm generic vanilla ice cream.
What are you, Neil?
Neapolitan.
What's your ratio,
about
man?
Exotic.
Oh, my ratio?
Yeah.
Just 42. There's no ratio.
1 out of
What's
42?
yours? You're a great artist, Rich.
1 to 1.
When you post your pieces from Rumble House on the Wednesday nights, and when I've gone, when I see what you can do in a couple hours, and I put Jess in this category too, what you guys can do, it just astonishes me. Like I wish I had that skill. And I hope that you never run yourself short, because I just am in awe of both of you.
I love you.
To be able to do that.
I love you.
I love you too.
I love you, Neil.
I love all of you.
Man, I love you.
Man,
Okay,
I
cut.
love you.
Meant it though. I meant it.
Oh man, that was
Yeah.
the hardest thing I've ever done.
Started.
Eugene
and
thinks he's at
before
another
you
open
know
mic.
It's the time we have to say so long.
Wow.